Today we're going to be making this washer bracelet. It's chill, it's not, too fancy, but it's kind of industrial. You can do it masculine, you can do it kind of feminine, and anybody can wear it. You're going to need 4 to 6 washers of, whatever size you're looking for. These, I believe, are an inch or so. I think these are an inch. 4 to 6 strands of yarn. This is worsted weight. It doesn't really matter what kind of yarn you use. You don't want to use anything that's too thick, otherwise you're not going to be able to get them all through the washer, the hole in the washer. So you're going to need 4 to 6. And the colors are basically up to you, but I'll show you how the colors change throughout and why they alternate. A crochet hook. You don't need it, but it makes it easier. Otherwise you'll be fiddling through with your fingers and it's kind of annoying. A pair of scissors. And for your setup, you will use a book, a fairly large book, something kind of substantial, a paper clip. You could also do this with just a pillow and some safety pins, but I'm going to go with this way instead because the book is glossier. Everything's going to move a little bit better. And a rubber band to go around your book. So first I'll show you how to do the setup for it. You're going to lay out your yarn like so. Then we're going to put the alternating colors between. The yarn I'm using is cut to about 14 inches. It does not have to be that long because you're going to clip some off at the end. But for working purposes and to make it easier to do this bracelet, I generally go with something that's a little bit longer just to make it easier on myself. So you set up your yarn so that it's alternating colors. I'm going to squish these all together a little bit and pull it to the edge. I'm just going to use my paper clip to clip that to the cover of your book right at the edge. Fold the clip down so it's like so. And then I'm going to use my rubber band to keep the book shut. So now I have a formidable workstation. So I'm just going to pick up my top colors, which mine are red. Picking those up, and I'm going to slide it through the smoother side of the washer, which I'm going to call the top, but it's the smoother side. The bottom is a little bit dull. It's kind of capped off, squared off at the edges here, and the top is smoother. So I'm going to put it down through the smoother side, and I'm going to use my crochet hook to do that. Like I said, you don't need a crochet hook, but it makes it a lot easier. You can also do it with a hairpin, or you can just fashion something for yourself. So you have 3 of the strands going through, the top 3. Now, depending on which direction you're working this in, you can say right to left, you can say left to right, you can say top to bottom, bottom to top, whichever direction you're doing this. I'm going to say the one on my right is number 1. Like the strand on my right, farthest right, is number 1. The middle one's number 2. The one on the left is number 3. And I'm going to work in that direction, always. So I'm going to say before number 1 comes the black number 1. And let's make this easier. Let me pick these up into my other hand. Alright, so before number 1 comes the black number 1. So we're going to put a crochet hook before the first strand and pick up the first strand of black. Now we're going to say before number 2 comes the black number 2. I'm going to go through with my crochet hook and pick up the strand, the second strand, the middle strand of black. Then before number 3 comes the black number 3, and pick that up and pull it through. Now it gets a little bit tricky if you were to do this with like a 4 or 5 strand bracelet, because technically that would be 8 to 10 strands of yarn. So I would definitely try to have like some type of a mantra worked up for how you do it. So that's our first washer, and I'm going to show you how to do it again with your second washer. So now, since the colors are alternating, you're going to be alternating, you know, your mantra. So I'm going to put the black through the top, the smooth, shiny side of the washer. Pull that right through. Those are all through. Pick up the bottom row, and now we're going to do it again. Before number 1 comes the red number 1. So you can see I'm going in front of it, right before it. I'm going to pick up the red number 1 and pull it through. Before number 2 comes the red number 2. I'm going to pick it up and bring it through. Before number 3, I'm going to slide that in there, comes the red number 3. And pull that through, and then we're just going to pull it up. You don't really have to worry about tightening it just yet, because you're going to have lots of surplus at the ends, and you want to get it you know, a length that's in between, so you're not snipping off too much, or a length that's farther to one end, so you're only snipping off one end as far as the surplus of yarn. So we're going to keep on doing that with our mancha. Pull it through the top of the washer. We're back on red again, and that's going to be your top color again. And just make sure when you go through, like I did it right here, my colors, or my strands like to get mixed up. It's going to happen. Just try to keep them straight, and it's not too difficult. It's just a matter of getting them all lined up the right way. So we're going in again. Before number 1 comes the black number 1. Pull that through. Before number 2 comes black number 2. Pull that through. And before number 3 comes the black number 3. And pull that through. And you just keep going. You can definitely keep this more masculine and do less washers. Preferably like 3 or 4 washers for like a guy, and more washers for a girl. It doesn't really matter. It's altogether, it's unisex. I would do more masculine colors, brown, blue, maybe dark green and black, dark green and dark blue. You know, you can cater it to your own whim, and even then you can just do a whole bunch of different colors and alternate them however you want them. You can do a pattern, you can do like camo, you can do rainbow, you can do anything, and the yarn or twine or string that you use doesn't really make a difference either, just as long as it's something where you're not using too many strands that you can't get them all through the washer, because it's, oh, look at that, I screwed up. Because it gets difficult after a while putting a billion strands through this tiny little hole. And like I said, don't worry about, you know, getting it all right on the first try, because it gets a little bit tricky. My yarn likes to separate, apparently, from the crochet hook. Just take it at your own pace, and it probably actually doesn't even help to talk while you're doing it, unless you're just reciting the mantra. Or maybe you don't even have to recite the mantra. Maybe you're a genius. There we go. Okay, hold that through. I'm gonna make this one a six washer bracelet, like this one, like that one, and just gonna keep going with it. All right. Now you have all of your washers on your yarn, and it still looks kind of odd right now, but we're going to braid the ends. We're going to do it in a way that your colors line up in a certain direction. You don't have to do it this way, but I find that it makes them look more uniform and chill. And so I'm just going to start by tightening up the last few in the row and making it a little bit tight. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not going to line them up the right way just yet. But, so you have your top strand and your bottom strand, or your bottom row, top row and bottom row. And I'm going to put black, red, black, red, black, red. So that's 3 sets of black, red. And you want to keep them going in this direction the whole time. We're going to do just a quick 3-strand braid. And if you don't know how to braid, I will put up a link to a good braiding video, and you'll see how to do it. But this is just a normal 3-strand. I think this is underhand. I only braid one way. I try to pretend that I don't, but I can't lie to myself or to you. We're just going to keep doing that braid, and always, always, always keep the colors in the same direction they were running to begin with. Black, red, black, red, black, red. That's the way I'm doing mine. You can, do yours, and then I just like to keep the color on the same side from beginning to end. And sometimes I don't want to agree, but eventually they'll fix themselves. Also, this is going to keep the blade flat, and it won't be the type of braid that sticks out and causes imprints on your wrist and that type of thing. Just keep going all the way to the end. And when you get to the end, stop. Alright, now you can unclip, undo everything. Rubber band, take that off, and unclip from your book. And I'm just going to flip that over. Now I'm going to do the design that I originally planned to do, or pull it down into the design that I originally planned, which was each one that's overlapping over the one before it. So I'm just going to pull it down and then gradually tighten as I get farther up so that they're really packed in. Not super, super tight, because then it won't curve around your wrist, but just tight enough that you don't get any awkward gaps. So then that's all. That's pretty tight. I'm going to clip this back to the book and put my rubber band around it again. And I'm going to do the same thing again. And this time I'm going to do black, red, black, red, black, red. Is that what I did before? Okay, then this time we'll do red, black, red, black, red, black. Silly. Red, black, red, black, red, black. And again, we'll do our 3-strand braid. I find that doing it on a book is a lot easier than doing it on like a pillow, because the pillow is still going to be tugging. And you're going to be using a lot of arm strength just to keep the pillow from moving around, unless you pin the pillow to something else. You can also do this on a the armrest of a couch. I mean, obviously that's not going to pull away from you. On your pants leg, I really wouldn't suggest it, but you could safety pin it to your pants leg. You know, pretty much anywhere, as long as you can keep it steady. But I'd rather do it to a book. And then, when you get to the end, stop. I'm going to pick this up, take this off, unclip. So now you have your bracelet, and this is pretty long. Like I said, this is about 14 inches. So then you can basically just fit it to your wrist, and then, you know, figure out how long you want it about, and then tie off the ends and trim them, and then you'll have a fresh, new, awesome washer bracelet.